All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.S.R. Gonzo'S Sports Room Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Jay McLevin. How's it going, Jay?
Hey, it is going well. Gonzo, I don't know if you've been tracking, but I just caught a few minutes ago. There's a big deal in minor league baseball of Major League Baseball in the CBA world. I don't know if you've caught wind of that or not.
No, I haven't seen that.
Real fast, real super quick. So minor leaguers, Major League Baseball reached tentative deal on first CBA, sources say. Now the CBA they reached an agreement on is up to 5 years. Goes on to say minor league baseball players and Major League Baseball struck a tentative deal Wednesday on the first CBA agreement between the sides that will more than double. Let me say it again. It will more than double the players' pay. Sources familiar with the agreement told ESPN. The deal, which will last for 5 years, comes after a rapid and successful effort last year by minor league to unionize under the umbrella of Major League Baseball Players Association and follows previous gains in housing and pay. So this is basically how it's going to work now. AAA is going to go from $17,500 a year to $35,800. AA will go from $13,800 to $30,250. High A will go to $11,000 to $27,300. Low A will be $11,000 to $26,200. And believe it or not, there's a thing called the Complex League, which will be $4,800 to $19,800. And the interesting thing about that also is the deal will include the reduction of the domestic reserve list, which governs the number of players a team can roster outside of Latin America from 180 to 165 starting in 2024. So that's a pretty big deal, man. We've been talking about minor league players forever being underpaid, a rough place to grow up in, this, that, and the other. Well, they finally did what we knew they were going to do, which is form a union or become unionized. And because of that, now they get a CBA, which now is going to double their pay, help them with housing, help them with food. So this is, to me, if you're a minor leaguer trying to get in the majors, this was a big win. This is a big, huge win for those guys.
Oh, yes, it was big. Them guys, I mean, you're a minor league baseball player. You're making $17,000 a year. I mean, that's embarrassing.
It is. It really, honestly, I don't even know what that would equate to in terms of dollars per hour.
I look at it. Why it's so embarrassing for Major League Baseball is because you draft these kids out of college to be in the Major League Baseball, and a lot of times some of these guys spend 2 to 3 years in the minors before they even ever get a shot in the majors. So that you're drafting these guys sometimes out of high school, sometimes not even out of college, sometimes out of high school, and if you don't put them up on the majors, you're only giving them $17,000 a year. I mean, so then they have to go work other jobs and stuff. I mean, it was.
Oh yeah,
even taking them up to 30.
Players are living out of their car.
Even what they're taking them up to now. Yeah, even what they're taking them up to now is not enough. I mean, it's a lot better. It's a lot better than what it was. I'm glad they're finally doing something. But I think you're going to see even more of a change in the next few years because with these NIL deals in college, you're going to get some of these baseball players that have already made a lot of money on the NIL deals, and you're going to try to tell them you're only going to pay them $17,000 or $30,000 a year. I think you're going to start seeing some problems there. So I can see things changing a little bit too because of the NIL starting to get so popular.
You know what's really weird to me? And Jim Cross really actually educated me on this subject matter. Is that baseball players,
get away from that game.
Hey, listen, I don't blame you. No, but Jim Cross really educated me on how college baseball really kind of works. Like for example, those guys don't even get scholarships. They just get a part of the team, but they got to pay their own way. It's not like NBA or NFL. I mean, these guys are paying their own tuition, and then it's hard to see NIL. And this goes back to MLB as a whole. It's a systemic process from the MLB and the lack of, marketing the sport. The fact that NBA and NFL players are getting NIL deals, scholarships, the whole bread and butter. And then you look at baseball, and these guys are over there, and if you ask me, I think baseball is probably one of the most technically hard sports ever to play. I can figure out how to shoot a basketball in a bucket. I can figure out how to tackle somebody. I can figure out how to run through someone. Do you know how hard it is to to be a pitcher, and how much technically skilled that must be, or to catch a 98 mile an hour or 100 mile an hour grounder off the ground if you're infield, or to even be able to hit the damn ball at 100 miles an hour? I can't even see that. There's so much technical skill in the game of baseball, but yet it's not rewarded monetarily in the minors, in college, or any other outside of MLB, at the majors level itself. And I think that's where baseball is hurting. That's where there's so far for a sport to be the oldest sport in America and also be quote unquote a supposed pastime, which, by the way, I don't think MLB is a pastime anymore. I think that's kind of gone into either NBA or NFL for various reasons. I think MLB has been lost, kind of discounted off to the side. It almost even seems like Gonzo.
Yeah, another thing with MLB is they have a monopoly on it because they have a thing where like no other baseball organizations can start up.
Isn't that crazy?
United States, so they have a monopoly over baseball as well. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but yeah, so it's.
Look, and that's the thing. If you want to have a monopoly, I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is. But the problem I have is when you're a monopoly and you're not taking care of.
They don't do a good job marketing themselves at all. They haven't.
But you know what I'm saying? Like MLB is so antiquated on everything it does. It just seems like NFL, NBA is light years ahead of baseball, and baseball is just always in the background, struggling, trying to catch up.
Well, and one reason is because baseball is still old school in the fact that it's still mostly regional TV deals. It's not the big national TV deals, like
and that's
NFL
true.
And NBA. I mean, you see a few games televised nationally, but there's so many baseball games in a season that most of them are just regionally broadcasted. So most of your TV deals are just regional, and so I don't know if that's something to do with it because they just kind of advertise regional.
That makes sense,
but they don't advertise nationally enough. Like around here,
it's good to see.
Like around here during baseball season, I'll see a lot of stuff about the Cincinnati Reds around here, but that's because they're a team to us, and we get them regional channels. Well, if we didn't get those channels, hell, the Reds never played nationally, so I would never see nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm out here in Atlanta, and I am catching the Astros game, but that's only because it's on ESPN. I don't get all the Astros games because I don't have the MLB network. Yeah. I mean, primarily I would get the Braves. That's really about all I get. I would get the Braves. The only time I ever get the Astros is that they're on ESPN or one of the other cable channels that I have, or if I. No, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Let's just say legally, I can only get it on ESPN or maybe.
What I'm saying, Jay, is that now if you lived in Texas, you'd be able to watch every Houston game.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You would get that regional network.
Which is really weird to me why baseball has not gone outside of the regional network in terms of that.
I think it's because there's so many games.
Well, that's true. I mean, there is 162 games in the season. So I understand where you're coming from. I just think baseball has got to – I mean, I like how they're improving the game. I do like the pitch clock. I like the quicker games rather than being there, forever. So I understand they are making improvements. But I really think that Major League Baseball, the improvements that they got to make aren't the ones that they've made yet. The ones that I feel like they still need to make is marketing and marketing and availability. Availability of the games. And I think I understand the challenge of 162 games and the availability, so I understand that. But the part that I don't understand why they haven't figured out is the whole marketing standpoint. The marketing is really the biggest piece of that pie.
And marketing your players, because hell,
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
80% of baseball players could walk down the street and people wouldn't know who they were.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
It's not that way in other sports.
No, it's really not. I mean, if any Dallas Cowboy ever walked by me, I promise you I'd be on him like a suction cup. But and even with the Astros, I mean, if an Astros player or a Rockets player, if it's within my realm of what my favorite is, yeah, I'm gonna know them. But maybe if a Dodger that I wasn't paying attention to walked by me, I might not know them.
Like in the NFL, there's players off other teams. If they walk by you, you would know who they are.
Right.
It's not like that as much in Major League Baseball.
Let's be honest. The only ones that you really wouldn't recognize are probably offensive linemen and defensive linemen, unless you're an edge rusher. I mean, come on. Let's just be honest. Linebackers, we know. Safeties, corners, we know. Wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, we're proficient. You ask me offensive lineman of the Cincinnati Bengals, I might be able to tell you Lyle Collins because he was a former Cowboys. The rest of them, I know they have a crappy line, but I couldn't give you names. And if they walk down the street, I'd look at him like no different. I might say, well, if he's going to the buffet and he's an offensive lineman, I'm going to try to get ahead of him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's something they need to fix on. But like you mentioned, tomorrow is opening day. I'm
so excited for that, man.
Well, Cincinnati Reds kick off at 10 after 4. We're going to have my man right here, Hunter Green, on the mound to kickoff opening day. I'm looking for a big year out of him this year. So we'll see how it goes first game against the Pirates.
So they put out a top 10 aces in the league, top 10. And for whatever reason, there was 0 Astros on there. Not a damn one. Not one. Even though Javier was part of not one, but 2 shutouts, he wasn't on there. And I'm like, but yet I think it was, and I hope I'm right on this. I believe it was Nestor Cortez was on there. And I'm like, this is just some BS. I mean, seriously, it's just some BS. Like, how do you not have Javier, who was part of 2 no-hitters, but yet you got, and there's nothing to do with Nestor Cortez, because Nestor Cortez is a great pitcher. Okay? A great pitcher. But yeah, he was. And so I thought it was interesting. I said, okay, so the Astros weren't part of the top 10 list. Okay. But you know who was? And I believe his first name is Dylan. I hope I'm getting his first name correct. I know his last name is Cease, Cease. And am I right? Is it Dylan Cease?
Yeah.
It's close to that effect, right? So he's a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, and he's opening up. He's opening up against the Astros, against Framber Valdez. And so Cease is part of this top 10 aces in the league. And Framber Valdez is going to face him tomorrow at 7, I think it's 7:05 Eastern. I'm going to tell you, Gonzo, if Framber Valdez outperforms his ass, I'm going to be all over the place saying y'all need to rethink the Astros pitching when you put this top 10 list together, because I think you're kind of missing something.
Are they hating on your Astros, Jay? Is that what you're saying?
No. I don't know if it's so much hating, because truth be known, I did look at the stats of Dylan Cease versus Framber Valdez, and he does have him beat on a couple of categories. Their ERAs, 282, 220, but Framber has more wins. But again, I'm not upset that Cease is on the top 10. I just really want Framber Valdez to go out there and outperform him on game 1, just to let MLB know, I know you put this boy as your top 10 on last year's stats, But this is a new year, and I want Fromber. I really just want Fromber to go out there and show this guy, hey, I belong on that top 10 too. So we'll see. Hey, at the end of the day, that's why I feel like tomorrow for the Houston Astros really has. I mean, yeah, it's Jose Abreu going against his old team. That's a big storyline, especially as he was nationally runner-up to Goldschmidt. But more specifically, I just want to see the Astros pitching outperform Cease and show them that I know this is your top 10, but it's not a factually correct top 10. Damn it. Outperform him. Fromber, let's go, baby.
No, it's going to be interesting to kick off a long season tomorrow, have the new rules that has been made, a big deal has been made out of over this course of spring training. It's going to be interesting to see how long that gets talked about before that kind of fades away. How deep in the season are we still talking about the pitch clock and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That pitch clock is going to be so interesting. I really am curious to see tomorrow how many violations, both pitching or hitting, go down on opening day.
And it's going to be interesting to see over the course of the season how no more shift, how that affects the game. Since you can't do the shift no more, we'll see. So with the new rules, we'll see how it'll be interesting to see how that affects the game over the course of a whole season. Might bring back a little bit more of the small ball aspect instead of just everything trying to be hit over the fence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see how these Yankees perform tomorrow, man. I know Frankie's wanting to win, but I really just want to win so bad for the Astros tomorrow, and a loss for the Yankees, and a win for the Reds. That's what I'm rooting for tomorrow. We'll see what comes to fruition. Garrett Cole is on the mound tomorrow, by the way, for the Yankees against the Giants.
Yeah, I saw that.
Man, I'm not lying. Gonzo, I'm not lying. I really just hope and pray. I just want these Giants to win. Oh, my God. That would be so great tomorrow.
If I remember right, the Yankees I think they're 1.5 run favorites, if I remember right.
Oh, no, the Yankees are definitely going to be the favorites for sure. Are you playing? Are the Reds playing tomorrow?
Yeah, we play at 10 after 4.
Okay, and who y'all playing?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a tough one because I kind of think you guys are both in the same boat in terms of where you are in your divisions. Expectations. I think that could be a close game. How do you feel about it?
It's all going to come down to the Reds' relief pitching. To me, I like our closer. I like. We have 3 real young starters that are like their second year guys this year that had moments last year. They showed a lot of flashes where they're going to be good. So I'm expecting them 3 guys to step up this year. So. And then you have 2 other starters I'm not real sure about yet. I'll get, I got to get to know them a little bit better. But then you have Joey Votto starting out in the IL, recovering from that surgery he had. It's just going to depend. I think a lot of it's going to be our relief pitching. I think the big thing is, and this is what I don't think a lot of people realize, is last season, if you would have took out the first month of the season, the Reds basically played 500 baseball the rest of the season. But the problem was the first month of the season, they started the season out 1 for their first 22 games. Well, when you dig yourself, hey, how's it going, Billy? But if you Yankees, Orioles, Rays, and Philly, I haven't looked at it deep enough to give out my parlay yet. I'm actually going to do that here after the show. Start getting ready for tomorrow's show, but because I'm not even sure who the Orioles and Rays and Phillies play off the top of my head. But no, with the Reds last year, dude, the first month of the season, they started the season out 1 for 22. After that, they pretty much played 500 baseball up to like the last week or 2 of the season where they just started playing all the young guys. But if you took out that first month the season, they'd have been right there in their division, right there in their division. So if they can just I'm just looking for them to get off to a better start than they did last year. But I think with Hunter Green on the mound tomorrow, I think we're going to pick up a win on opening day.
Hell yeah, that definitely gets you off to the right foot, no doubt about that, brother. Let me ask you this: have you seen?
Yeah, Yankees are 1.5 run favorites over the Giants.
Oh, really?
They're minus
188. More than that.
Yankees are minus. Well, on the spread, most of them are 1.5. Now on the money line, they're minus 188, and the Giants are plus 158. So they're not real big favorites. Let's see. The Reds are slight favorites over the Pirates at minus 132 on the money line. Pirates are plus 112. Again, the run line is 1.5. Let's see. Astros are minus 156 on the money line. White Sox.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I always struggle with this when we talk about minuses and plus. Minuses are a good thing. Pluses are a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
If I say I'm minus whatever,
if you're minus,
you're the minus to be a good thing. If you're minus, plus, it's kind of like you're.
If you're minus, you're the favorite.
Okay, thank you. That's what I always struggled with. Okay, all right.
And basically, if it say you're minus 156.
Yeah.
So you're a decent favorite.
Right. So if you were putting money down, would you put money down on the Astros to win?
So put it this way: if you for every $156 you put down, you would win $100.
Oh damn! Okay.
But see now, the White Sox, they're plus 132. So basically,
they're not looking good. So if you so if I bet $100 on that, what would I win?
You'd win $132 for every $100 you bet.
Oh snap!
Because they're the underdog. So you're
okay. I got you. Okay.
If a team is plus a dollar or plus 100, that's even money.
Okay.
And then
so it's everything after the 100 that you start making money on.
Yeah. So if it's even money, if you bet $10, you're going to win $10. If you bet $100, you're going to win $100. And then
so you're not making any profit. You're just basically it's almost like in betting or like blackjack. It's almost like a push.
You're basically you're kind of doubling your money basically because if you bet 100.
Oh, okay. So if I bet
100,
10, I'm gonna walk away with 20.
What'd you say?
So if I bet 10, I would walk away with 20.
Yeah, because you'd win 10.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
You see what I'm saying? You'd win $10.
Oh, yeah, right. No, I understand exactly what you're saying. I always struggle with that negative and plus. I never really understood the whole betting thing, but now as you break it down, I mean that's pretty simple. So okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, so if you bet on a team that's in the plus, you're going to win more money because they're the underdog.
Right, and well, that makes sense. Yeah, it's almost like going. It's like a 40-1 when you're going to the track or something on a horse.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Speaking of money, man, you see how much money they're going to be paying Ohtani in 2023?
Yeah, most ever.
Holy! And by the way, we'll talk more about this in depth on Unscripted. But man, let's talk about it now. Hell, let's get into it. He's getting $30 million from the Angels this year, plus an additional $35 million in endorsements. To put it in perspective, Mike Trout is only getting $4 million, and Aaron Judge is getting right about the same, $4 million in endorsements. This dude's raking in $35 million in endorsements. How crazy is that, Gonzo?
I wonder how many of them endorsements are in Japan and
I'm sure a lot of them are in Japan. Oh, I absolutely believe a lot of that probably is in Japan.
And the reason I say that because you don't see like many commercials or anything here in the United States with Ohtani on it.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. That's what I'm saying. I would not I would not be surprised if it was all in Japan, or if the majority of it was in Japan. I'm just saying the man's making $35 million in wherever country it comes from. He's getting $35 million just in endorsements. Yeah. He's killing everybody. And let me ask you this, Gonzo, based off of that, how do we, and I hate to say that a foreign-born player, I really hate to say a foreign-born player is the face of our sport because it was founded here. But yet a foreign-born player, if you ask me, based on endorsement dollars, is the face of baseball.
He's quickly starting to be baseball.
I mean, I don't know who else. Who else would be? I mean, we're talking about face of baseball globally.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. That's been the problem with Major League Baseball. They've been trying to make Trout the face, but Trout's never had. He's never had that. He's never had the desire to be that person. He just wants to show up, play baseball.
I don't know if Ohtani does. The man don't speak English.
Well, but with Ohtani, it's because he does something nobody has seen since Babe Ruth days. So because he's doing both positions, and he's doing it both positions at a high level to top that off. It's not like he's just hitting the ball as a mid guy or is just like a mid-level pitcher. He's a high.
Let me ask you this.
He's high level. So far in his career, he has been high level both.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And I
but let me ask you this: Is it unfair? Is it unfair that he's the face of baseball because he does basically represent an entire country over everybody else, plus whatever he garners in American fanism, right? So he's got a whole country plus whatever he gets from the U.S. To me, that's almost like an unfair advantage on Trout or Aaron Judge or anybody else because they only really can captivate here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like he has an unfair. Do you think that he has kind of an unfair advantage on him?
I would say you do have an advantage. I wouldn't say it's unfair just because when them guys come here, they got. I mean, it's a whole different culture. There's a lot of stuff they have to adapt to when to come here, where the American players don't have to do that. So I think there's advantages and disadvantages both ways, but it is an advantage in that fact. And Ohtani's not the only one that can benefit from it. You got a lot of these guys that come from overseas and play, and when they go back home, they're superstars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And well, before I put up Frankie's comment, I want to go back to Billy when he said it's not America's pastime anymore. I agree with what Billy's saying. I think baseball used to be America's pastime back many generations ago. But I think since the millennials and everything after the millennials, and maybe even a little bit before the millennials, baseball really started to lose its grip on being the pastime. And I think you could put any number of NBA or NFL that has taken its place. Would you agree with that? Or do you think America is still the pastime, or baseball is still the pastime?
I think it is at grassroots level. Because if you go around, there's still a lot of baseball being played here in America. Now, when you get to the professional level, yes, I do agree with you because you see more and more of the foreign players now than what you do a lot of American players, especially your stars, your bigger name players.
Right.
But I think if you go watch like it's still baseball's still going strong with like youth leagues and stuff like that. I see a lot of baseball being played. One thing I think that does hurt baseball is it's an expensive sport because you have to have the glove and the bat, and then also nowadays you don't have as many of your rec leagues because almost everything's went to this travel ball.
Oh yeah, travel ball is big. Oh my god!
But it's big, but it's so damn expensive.
Well, it's travel ball until they get to high school level, and then it becomes high school ball. But
I'm saying it's expensive as hell, though, dude.
Oh no, it's definitely expensive because you got to pay for travel, and if they got a lodge, you got to pay for lodge, and then that glove. Most gloves you buy.
Let me tell you this. This ain't no joke. My son's 23, so this has been about 12 years ago. 12, 13 years ago. He'd been about 12 years old. Might have been 10. I can't remember. He got invited to go try out for this travel team that was around our area.
Right.
Remember, this was about 12 years ago. It was $1,000 to be on. If you made the team, it was $1,000 to be on the team.
Yeah.
You got a couple of uniforms and a bag and stuff, but that didn't include. You would be playing almost every weekend. That include all your gas money, your travel, your hotel, all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, because he wanted to try out. And I told him, I said, you can try out, but if you decide you want to do that, well, then we're not going to be able to go travel and do all the wrestling, extra wrestling stuff we do because it's going to cut into time.
Yeah, you're going to have to make a decision one way or the other because financially it's rough.
So he kept playing baseball, but he just stayed in the rec league and stuff like that. We didn't do the travel ball. He played on all-star teams and all that stuff. And then we'd wrestled, but yeah, dude. And that was like, so I couldn't imagine what it is to be on a team now. Because that was, like I said, 12, 13 years ago, they was wanting like $1,000 just if you made the team. It's like,
well, let me ask you this. Well, first of all, let me tell you, I understand what you're saying. Before I married Melanie, well, actually before I met Melanie, after my first wife, I was dating this woman and she had a son and her son was in travel ball. How she was having to work out for him. So yeah, I know that travel ball is super expensive.
What my point was about that is that cuts some kids, a big portion of kids out.
Oh yeah. But let me ask you this. But the question I want to ask you specifically is
afford it.
But the question I want to ask you specifically is when it comes to like this Little League World Series, that's not coming from travel ball, is it? That's coming from like locally sanctioned in their city where they grew up, like Pearland. Take Pearland, for example. I mean, that's a Pearland baseball team. It's not like a travel team. That's a team that just plays in Pearland, correct?
It's a team. It's a team made out of players that play in the Pearland Little League. That's what I'm saying. That's not travel ball. That's a Little League organization. It's like the all-star team from that Little League.
Yeah, that's my point. So when these dudes are going and playing at Williamsport, they're coming from Little Leagues. They're not coming from travel ball. They're coming from Little League. The all-stars of the Little League.
I see some of them guys that play travel ball will also play in that Little League, so they're eligible to play on them teams.
So they're basically playing on two different teams, basically. They're playing on a Little League team and a travel ball team and coordinating between both.
Yes. And
they're basically moonlighting baseball.
And the problem with the Little League is Little League's awesome, but the problem is not every town has a Little League organization. Like some organizations might not be Little League sanctioned. They're just your like town leagues and stuff. They're not every league is Little League sanctioned. So not every baseball league gets to participate in that Little League World Series, because if you're not a Little League sanctioned Little League, you can't participate in it. And like around here, there's a couple youth programs, but they're not Little League sanctioned. But then there's another one that there's another one that's just right outside of town here that is Little League sanctioned.
So you got to be sanctioned. You can't be a normal Little League. You got to be a sanctioned Little League in order to be able to enter into the Little League World Series or what have you. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Frankie goes on to say, so I just checked, boys. It's going to be 3 and 4 game series in baseball. So there is no 2 game. It's 3 and 4 series. Okay. And then he also goes on to say Yankees Astros have a 4-game series August the 3rd to the 6th in New York, and then a 3-game series the 1st of September to the 3rd in Houston. And then Gonzo, he goes on to say you guys got a 3-game series in Cincinnati on May 19th to the 21st, and I will be so rooting for the Reds.
I know. I'd like to go to one of them games. I know a buddy of my dad's buddy, he's going. We're actually going to we're going to an A-level minor league game here in a couple weeks. We're going to go watch the Fort Wayne Tin Caps play.
Nice. God, that's gonna be weird, man. as you know, as people may or may not know, I'm moving to Houston from Georgia at the end of May, and Gonzo, I can't tell you how excited I will be to watch these Yankees and Astros go at it in Houston. It's always a good time, man, and I'm gonna be giving Frankie all kinds of hell. Yankees have a 3-game. Oh, he already said that. Next one was I was in the Little League. Man, I was too. I think a lot of us were in Little League. If you were playing Little League baseball, I don't know what we were doing.
My dad ran a baseball league for 30 years here in town.
He said they were pulling a bench warmers moment.
Yeah, dad ran a league for 30 years here in town. Then when I got older, I started helping him, and then I umpired. I umpired for.
Oh, nice! Your dad ran a Little League there?
Yeah. Well, no, it was. Well, it wasn't a little. I mean, it was a youth program, but it wasn't sanctioned by Little League. But yeah, he ran it through a couple.
Either way, I'm just saying they're playing. Okay, yep. That's awesome.
Kids from T-ball age all the way up to like 15, 16 years old.
Oh wow!
He also ran a wrestling program for 30 years here in town too.
Man, your dad's been a busy bee, Gonzo. Wrestling and baseball. Crap, at 4'11", jeez Louise.
Remember that's great when they do that bench warmers. That Mexican up there pitching, he's drinking tequila while he's on the mound.
Hey, listen, Frankie, that would absolutely unequivocally be you, and it's okay. Look, we love who Frankie the Yankee Foxborough Frankie is. But man, it really blew me away about how much money Ohtani was bringing in for just a single year of baseball.
If it wasn't for my health issues, I'd still be umpiring. I love umpiring. I loved umpiring baseball. I used to umpire. I was umpired almost every weekend of the summer, and in a lot of weekends.
If you love baseball, then you love umpiring. I mean, honestly, you do, right? I mean, it's that love of the game that makes you want to go out there, and umpire, no matter if it's a scrimmage or if it's an actual game or sanctioned or not sanctioned.
I've umpired little league district tournaments. It's like the first round of the tournament that starts to go to Williamsport and play in the World Series. I've umpired some of those games.
Yeah, man, I see. It looks like. I wonder. And I was thinking about this earlier today when we were talking about Trout, National Golf Course, and things like that. I wonder if he'll have the LIV contest or the PGA contest, or will he have both?
It'll be interesting to see I wonder if, since Tiger is designing it, if Tiger's going to try to if there's going to be some kind of stipulation in there that he don't let LIV play there.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because I've seen another article on ESPN that says,
dude, if I'm Trout, I'll host both. You know what I mean? Hey,
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Let's bring that money in. You're hosting all of them, I could.
I want so. If you're a LIV golfer, can you compete at the Masters? Or is that specifically to PGA?
Well, no. The LIV golfers are being allowed to compete at the Masters. So
I wonder what that's going to be like when you got LIV guys going against PGA guys.
As long as you've met the qualification or whatever, you know what I mean? Because you have to qualify for the Masters, or what, you got to be ranked a certain number or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
But PGA was trying to put a stop. They were trying to stop that, but as of now, you can. I think it might be going to court. It might end up going to court or something. But PGA is trying to make it where they can't. But I don't think the Masters was going to do that, because it's supposed to be. I mean, Masters is supposed to be like the best golfers in the world, not just in one.
In one league, right? Or one tournament play.
Yeah, basically one league, one organization.
Yeah. Because I got to imagine that's got to be incredibly weird with LIV golfers going against PGA golfers. There's got to be a little bit of.
Maybe a little bit, but most of them guys, I've played golf together for so long before this, because most of the guys that are in LIV used to be in the PGA.
But they could have been made out if
you got the little war going back and forth.
And I was gonna ask, okay, so that's what I was gonna ask. That's kind of going towards my question, and I guess maybe you kind of already answered that. Was if Liv wins the Masters, does that give them bragging rights over the PGA?
I wouldn't say so, just because golf is golf, and you could play that Masters tournament 10 weeks in a row, and you probably end up with 10 different winners.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just how golf.
No, I get that. I get that.
Everything has to go so right over 4 days for you to win a Masters. It's just so hard. I mean, it's not even just a Masters, any golf tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
I was watching the Players Championship a couple weeks ago, and the guy had like a 5-shot lead, and then there on 17 on the island green, he shot a 7 on the par 3. And he went from first place to like 7th on one hole. He hit it in the water twice on that island green. But it's like, so I mean, golf is just it can flip so quick.
And that's what, you know, when I think about it, man, like if I really,
it's the hardest sport I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's dude, I can hit it's hard to hit that golf ball where you want to.
No, and that's exactly right. And that's kind of where I was going with that, is I feel like, you know, and I'm not by any means saying that there's not skill sets in basketball or football. But I got to be honest with you. I played basketball, baseball, football. I played golf. You want to call it that. And I played tennis.
I always say I tried to play golf.
I tried to play golf. I tried to play tennis. And I will just tell you, you know, I literally have sampled every sport that's there. And I honestly found that baseball, golf, and tennis were 3 of the most technically difficult sports to play. Dude, I found that basketball and football, you know, were the least technically skilled sports to play. Like I feel like as a novice, I could be more successful at football and basketball than I could the other 3 sports easily, hands down, bar none.
Oh yeah, well, like golf, that's been the hardest sport for me to try to pick up. No matter what I do, I'll hit the ball, and one time I might get to finally go straight. Next time it's going to slice. The next time it's going to go. It's just, man, it's just so hard because you got to get that repetition where you're getting the exact same swing every time, and it's hard to do if you don't spend a lot of time doing it. I used to always tell people, they'd ask me before I started having my health issues. Now I can't even swing a golf club. But back when I used to go, people go, "You going to play golf today?" I was like, "I'm going to go try," because I wasn't no good. Hey, I wasn't no good at it, but I love going just because go drink some beer, hit some golf balls, and hang out with the guys. My son loved going. Me and him would go together, and we just neither than one of us were very good, but we'd have a good time. Yeah. Oh, Pat Bev didn't have a good night tonight.
Man, hey, Frankie's all over the place. He goes back to say, you talking about the Mexican, I think he was talking about the Mexican League or something like that. He said he was like 12 years old. Yeah. Man, and then he goes on to say that Volpe is going to be allowed to wear Brett Garner's number 11 jersey. That's something else. Pat Bev's tonight after calling Braun to a little 0 points. So, yeah. I hear you, Frankie, man.
But Jay, what do you think? We got the big Final Four coming up on Saturday.
Man, I got to be honest with you, man.
March Madness has been awesome.
What's that? I'm sorry.
March Madness has been awesome this year. I think I've heard some people. I've heard some of the bigger networks on TV. Some of the guys on shows complaining, saying this hasn't been a very good March Madness, and mad because we don't have none of the blue bloods in it. I'm glad we don't have the blue bloods in it. It's nice seeing different teams.
The only reason they're saying that, I swear, I promise you, the only reason they're saying that is because their brackets are busted, and they're pissed off about their brackets being busted. That's it. I got to be honest with you. I really wanted Houston to win. And I was mad when Texas went down in the Elite Eight. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Because this, I will tell you, the storylines, the way that everything has gone left, right, up, and down. I love the March Madness. I think it's amazing. And I would be ecstatic if FAU gets the title and becomes the first, at least in my lifetime, Cinderella team to get the title. I would love nothing more than FAU to get the title. That would be mind-boggling. But my heart tells me, even though I know Gonzo's going to go the UConn direction, there's nothing wrong with that. He's going to go UConn. I really and hey, listen, that Sudoku, that big dude, trust me, Gonzo, I get it. I know why you're going UConn. I get that, brother. Trust me, I'm right there with you. But I just feel that Miami. I feel like what Miami is trying to do, and the momentum, and just the tenacity. I just think Miami's going to be too much, even for Sudoku. I think it's going to be too much, and I really truly believe it's going to be Miami, FAU, Miami pulling it out.
Personally, I'd like to see Miami pull it out just because I was on that Miami train early in the tournament. But just, man, UConn has been so impressive. And so I just can't pick against them right now. Not the way they've been playing in this tournament. They're winning by an average of 20 points a game. And I mean, that's crazy in the March Madness tournament. And then, like you said, you knew I was going to bring up Sudoku. That dude, man, that dude has been impressive. What he can do on the defensive side and the offensive side, he can wreck a game. I think the Miami UConn game is going to be real close. I think both these Final Four games are going to be real close. I think it's going to be fun, a fun Final Four. But I got UConn going advancing, and I got UConn winning it all. UConn about to break the U.
Man, yeah. Hey, Frankie sent me a thing where basically Austin Reeves is telling Pat Beverly that I haven't watched the video yet, but the premise is basically Austin Reeves is telling Pat Beverly by gesturing that he's too small. Hey, listen. Hey, I'm not mad at you, Austin. Hey, I would truthfully love to see the Lakers get in there and do some damage, but Frankie, I know that's what you want, man, but I just don't think the Lakers have what it takes to go all the way. But I could be wrong. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, as they say. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, Gonzo, man, geez Louise, man. How about everything else that's going on in the world of sport?
I'm sorry, you were.
That's what I want to talk to you about. So Lamar Jackson has gone on this crazy narrative now. Have you seen where he's talking about he's tired of hearing everybody questioning his durability and the fact that he can't make it through a whole season or what have you?
Yeah,
that's the narrative on that.
The dude needs an agent. He needs somebody to talk to him.
I've been saying that.
He's just making himself. He's not making himself look good. Right now, he just needs to be quiet. He came out and said that he demanded a trade. If you want to do that, that's fine. But after that, just stay silent and whatever you got to talk to with the Ravens about. Do that. Do what you got to do to try to get where you want to go. But answering questions on Twitter isn't going to get you anywhere. It's not going to make any of these other teams that want to work with you. And not only has that narrative changed, did you see the narrative of all these teams? The Patriots that came out and said they're not. The Colts have came out. Colts and Falcons have both came out and said they're not going to pursue him. And everything was after yesterday morning. Everything was heating up with the Colts. And I told you I thought they were kind of overreacting to what the GM said, but there had been a lot of reports here in Indy for the last few weeks that Indy might make a move for Lamar, but then it's been reported today that they're not going to. So teams put out what they want out there too. So, and hey, the less teams that are involved, less you might have. I guess like you could be the less you have to give up for them as well, because you can say, hey, there ain't no market for you for no 250 plus guaranteed, brother. If you want if you can come here, I'll give you 150 guaranteed.
Oh hell yeah! Speaking of money, speaking of money and the craziness of it all, how crazy do you think it is that RG3 has had conversations with both groups that have $6 billion bids into the Commanders? He's got conversations with both groups to join them in their effort to secure the Commanders. Now, I ask you that because, Gonzo, how crazy is it for a guy that was the quarterback and driven to the ground and treated like crap by the Commanders, all of a sudden in a group that's going to be buying or most likely will be buying the Commanders? How crazy is a turn of events on that?
I don't think he ever had a problem with like Washington and the fans and the city. I think it was more of with the owner.
Oh, absolutely. That's yeah. I'm sorry. Let me specify. Yeah, that direction.
So yeah. I mean, I wonder how much money he has to put in to be a part of it.
Hey, whatever it is, I'm sure he'll get a nice, healthy check at the end of it, or whatever. Hopefully, they get some returns. But I think it's just symbolically, it's just crazy that the team that drove him into the ground is the same team that he's now purchasing or hope to purchase.
Yeah.
Hey, good for him. Hey, at the end of the day, hey, RG3, good for you, man. Honestly, hey, I was something about as a Baylor product, as a Texas product. I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing.
That is if Snyder will sell. I don't know if he's.
Hey, no negative talk. He's going to sell. I mean, honestly, like, how could he? I mean, what would be the cost? So he's got Bank of America representing him, right? They're the ones that are holding the sale. I mean, at some point, doesn't he have to kind of sell, or is it just?
I don't know. He don't want to sell.
All right, Gonzo. Let me put this a different way. Let me put this a different way. So, if he quote unquote, and I think we all kind of agree that he does have some level of dirt on the other owners, which is why they haven't completely forced him out quicker. If he has this dirt, why even put the team up for sale? Why not just keep owning it?
I don't know. I think maybe just to see, maybe as a filler as well, see what it was, what kind of value it was going to get, and now he's seeing $6 billion.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is, it's not like the NFL has come out and said you have to sell, right? That was a decision that he made to sell, or did somebody force him to put the team on the
market? They're trying to get the NFL's owners are trying to get him to sell, but they haven't voted. They haven't forced him out yet. They'd have to do a vote to force him out, but they're strongly recommending that he sells. And there's been reports if he don't sell that they're going to force him out, and that's when he came out and said that. Go ahead and force me out. I have shit on all of it.
No, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. At that point, why even go to Bank of America? Why not just ride this out? I mean, what would be the worst case for him? That they force him out. Okay, you forced me out. Okay, now I've got to sell. I still go to Bank of America.
I think he has people around him telling him just to sell it, be done with it. You're gonna make a hell of a lot of money. But I think personally, he likes being the owner in the NFL, and he don't want to sell.
I think that's part of it, and I think another part of it is he just don't like being told what to do with his stuff. Like, he don't like being, you know what I mean? You can't tell me there's not some ego. There's got to be some ego in there somewhere.
How many billionaires don't have an ego?
Oh, that's my point. Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely unequivocally correct. So I think it's. If I had to say what it was,
if I was a billionaire, I probably wouldn't like to be told what to do either.
hey, listen, I'm filling in option D. All of the above is why I'm not selling. I'm just saying.
Why aren't you selling? Because I don't want to sell.
I don't want to. It's my shit. I bought it.
No, I paid my $280 million or whatever it was I paid for it.
I'm just saying, man. Damn. I mean, and then if legally I had to sell, okay, it is what it is. I still walk away with $6 billion. But I'm not going to volunteer to put it on the market. You're going to have to leave a court of law. Tell me I got to put it on the market, and then I'll get my $6 billion or whatever it is I get. At the end of the day, I'm going to sit pretty, not do a damn thing until you force me legally. Then I'll still get $6 billion. I'm not going to volunteer. Is what I'm getting at. I'm not going to volunteer to sell the team. Why would I?
No, yeah, that'd be stupid. But yeah, I think back on the Lamar Jackson thing for a minute. I think he ends up back in Baltimore, or at least for this season. I don't think anybody's going to offer him a big deal, and then he has to be careful because these teams can make him an offer. Say it's not the offer. Say it's not the offer he's wanting money wise. Ravens get a chance to match it.
That's crazy.
They can match the offer, or they can give him up and they get 2 first-round picks. So just because a team makes an offer doesn't mean that's where he's going to go, because the Ravens could still have the option of matching that offer.
If I had to see this play out, I see it playing out. I see it playing out with him staying with the Ravens. Now, I think if I'm Atlanta, maybe if I'm Atlanta, maybe I make a move on it. Maybe I get Vic 2.0 and start my team over again in that direction. I think Atlanta would be a good spot for him. And I know Arthur Blank has said that he likes Michael Vick's game. So, but at the end of the day, like you said, Gonzo, everybody's not making a move. Everybody's saying things, but nobody's making a move. Nobody's putting contracts in front of him saying, "Okay, let's do this." So. I guess to your point, I mean, I don't think anybody does do it. I think the Ravens at some point are going to, maybe they franchise him that second time. I don't know how stubborn Lamar Jackson's going to be about it. And like you said earlier, or like we talked about earlier, if he's on the franchise tag and he has no medical reason for him not playing, then they don't got to pay him. So then he's basically taking a year off and not getting paid for that whole year.
Frankie, with some breaking news, the Kings finally make the Western Conference playoffs, first time since 2006. I knew they were right on the verge.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Hell, I think the last time correct me if I'm wrong, Gonzo, but I think the last time the Kings were in it, I think Mike Bibby was still on the team.
He said, "See, Chris, if the Kings can make the playoffs, so can the Reds." Hey, the Reds made the playoffs.
Oh, man.
The Reds made the playoffs three seasons ago, so it hasn't been a long time.
I saw a picture today, Gonzo. I saw a picture today on Facebook that had an old school. It was a 1971 Pete Rose, Johnny Bench in their suits next to a car. I was like, man, even back then, Pete Rose had the worst haircut I've ever seen in my life. It was horrible. I don't know if you can if I ever see that picture again, Gonzo, I'll make sure to send you it. But
Pete Rose always had terrible hair.
It was like buzz cut with a side part. It was the weirdest. Had terrible hair. Bro, it was the weirdest hairstyle I've ever seen on a human being. But Johnny Bench looked like Johnny Bench, man. Johnny Bench, like he looked like Johnny Cool. You know what I mean? Almost that. What's that one dude's name, man? The one that rode the bicycle that died on it at a young age. What was his name? Anyway, it'll come to me later on, man. But he was a famous actor. He died super young too. Golly.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too. Don't worry about it. I had a guy in mind, but I can't think of his dang name. Yeah, I can see it vividly. James Dean. He looked like James. When I looked at Johnny Bench old school, it looked like James Dean, man. Like he had that back hair and
Pete Rose always had terrible hairstyle.
His hair was horrible.
He's always been my favorite player. Then Johnny Bench right there too, being a Reds fan.
Best catcher to ever play the game.
Dude, man, his hands are about that fucking big.
Bro, listen.
Like
Pete Rose, man. Y'all gotta let Pete Rose in, damn it.
That's one hand of Johnny Bench.
No, I believe it. No, I believe, like I said, I mean, you could tell by his features, he had big features. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh yeah, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. That's ridiculous, but
at some point they got to let this man in before he dies, man. He's in his 80s. Come on, don't do him like that. That's what's going to irritate me.
Oh, they're going to let him in after he dies. I've been saying that for a while now. They'll let him in, but they're not going to let him.
Pete Rose knows that. Pete Rose thinks like, man, when I'm not going to let me in.
Probably. They're not going to let him have the satisfaction of knowing that he got in. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is it is very ridiculous. But that's how our culture is. So
best hitter in the game. The hit king.
Oh no, there's no doubt about it. He's the best. He's the best hitter in the game. I'll tell you what, though, man. I love a good Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was another one. I thought was really a good hitter. Like Tony Gwynn. I think they said he. You know what the thing about Tony Gwynn was? He played in. I think it was the 70s. He played basketball, and he had 540 assists, and he had more assists than he had strikeouts in a 20-year career in MLB at 434.
Yeah, and with Pete Rose too, it wasn't just about his hitting; it was just the way he played the game. It was always 110.
Oh, yeah,
it was always 110%. On defense, offense, whatever he was doing, That's why I went growing up. It's like that's who I wanted. You know what I mean? It's the guy I wanted to play the game like because it was always 110%, 110% of the time. It was just boom, boom, and then.
I just think, when it comes to guys like Shoeless Joe Jackson, even though I didn't agree with the Black Sox, but still, Shoeless Joe was a great player. And the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame because of what went down in Chicago way back in the day, and then you look at Pete Rose betting on baseball, whatever, and then that keeps him from out of it. And then you got Barry Bonds in the steroid keeping them out. I think baseball needs to say, look, we're not the morality police. Let's honor the guys that played great in the game of baseball, and let's move on from this crazy stuff.
With Pete Rose, what happened with him when he was a player? It was when he was a manager.
And that's what I'm saying. So don't let him in as a manager. I'm okay with that, but let him in as a player.
That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be what you done on the field. And
well, that's what I thought.
And then they open up. And then they open up a sports book inside or at the Great American Ballpark, and the person to make the first bet there was Pete Rose.
Hey, you got to hand it to the man. Hey, listen. Hey, he's always been cool no matter what. So, Pete, no, look, you don't need the Hall of Fame to tell you you're the best. Everybody knows you're the best. Any place to bet for the Reds to win the World Series, so he bet on the Reds. God bless him. God bless him. Man, yeah.
But then, it's crazy. Opening day tomorrow, March or Final Four Saturday. WrestleMania this weekend. I'm ready for that. Of course, and then of course SmackDown and the WWE Hall of Fame Friday night, NXT Stand and Deliver on Saturday afternoon, and then WrestleMania Saturday night and Sunday. Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah,
be good.
Real quick, man. Keep the Padres coach Matt Williams in your prayers. He's been diagnosed with colon cancer, so he'll be taking a leave of absence from the Padres. I would imagine to have his colon, probably surgically removed and hopefully get into therapy and go into remission. So, man, family of Matt Williams, man, hey, from the Unscripted group and I'm sure from Gonzo'S Sports Room, man, we will definitely be having you in our prayers, man. Colon cancer, if you diagnose it early enough, it's treatable. But if you don't, then it's basically terminal. But hopefully they got it quick enough on him. So, hearts and prayers.
Yeah, that's some scary stuff.
Yeah, colon cancer. it's a pretty rapid. It's a very rapid form of cancer. So if you don't, it's obviously it's in men. So if you don't do your colon check, hey, I'm gonna tell you, anybody, if you're over the age of 40, make sure you're doing your colon checks, because that is a very treatable form of cancer if you find it quick enough. So as men, we need to be doing those types of checkups to keep ourselves healthy. But all right, man. Damn, Gonzo, what we got for final thoughts?
Well, hopefully the Reds whip some ass tomorrow. Ready for like I said, for WrestleMania this weekend.
Yes,
it's going to be entertaining. Also, it did get. I am allowed to let the cat out of the bag a little bit. We do have a big announcement coming up here in the next few days, so be on the lookout for that. Been excited about being able to announce it, and I'm pretty sure within the next few days we should be able to announce it. And then also April 8th, don't forget, we'll be live at 7 p.m. Eastern with DCCW Invasion 4, featuring WWE Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi, and Buff Bagwell. We'll all be in attendance at this event, plus a bunch of young DCCW talent. So join us April 8th live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for that. Should be a great time. And then tomorrow at 6:30, Scott Pro Wrestlers and 3 Hall of Fames, Scott Diamond will be joining us. So
nice.
Make sure you tune in for that tomorrow. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all at Gonzo'S Sports Room, and the All Sports All Plays Network. And then, of course, Unscripted tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern as well. Make sure you tune in there. And that's about all I got, other than check out the ASAP Network app. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, ASAP Sports Network, at Gonzo'S Sports Room, at Unscripted. And I think that's about all I have, Jay.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Just make sure you check out, like Gonzo said, Unscripted tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then make sure you check out all of Gonzo's sports stuff over the weekend, as well as WrestleMania. God, I can't wait, man. I'm excited. I can't wait for the watch along. I can't wait to see, all of the events unfold and who's going to be what. The Usos, we know the Usos are going against Kevin O. So it's going to be good to see that. Cody Rhodes, will they give it to him?
I think they will. What time you guys going on live for the watch along? Do you know yet?
I don't know. I was going to ask you the same damn question. I thought we were doing this together.
Asking me the same question.
Hey, let me ask you this. What time does WrestleMania start?
Oh, fuck. I think 6 or 7. I'm not sure. I'm not going to, I didn't know what time. Reason I asked what time, because I'm not going to be there.
That's right. I tell you what. Hey, more to follow. Unscripted Thursday, we'll put out that information because I got to get with the guys. So Thursday,
I'm going to try to get on for a few, but I won't be there the whole time because I'll be doing our thing here. I
know. You're basically saying what you're saying is, Jay, I'm gonna be here, but I'm not gonna be here. I got you, Gonzo. All good. High fives. We will let you know tomorrow, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern on Unscripted. It will all be announced, and then we'll obviously put it out on the afternoon show on Friday, and so forth till Saturday gets here.
Yep, afternoon show tomorrow at 1. Easy Money and Sports Betting show at 3. And then the interview and Unscripted. That's a big Thursday, and then Friday. Don't forget Sports Happy Hour. We'll be back this week on Friday. We took last Friday off because I was doing a Hall of Fame, but we'll be back this Friday. Myself and Greg Broderick, so make sure you tune into that 8 p.m. Eastern Friday night. And then G.S.R. Gonzo'S Sports Room will be back Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. We'll do our final. We'll do blah blah blah. We'll talk some Final Four, and then we'll probably talk some WWE SmackDown and some maybe a little bit of WrestleMania predictions going into Saturday night. Also talk NFL news, all that good stuff. Major League Baseball, since it'll be a couple days into the season. But we appreciate everybody joining us. This has been G.S.R. Gonzo'S Sports Room. We'll see you guys Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. Have a good night.